Attention! This is a national emergency. The following message is transmitted at the request of the United States Geological Survey, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and the Department of Defense. At 2:42 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, the U.S. Geological Survey detected a catastrophic 7.4 magnitude earthquake originating off the coast of the Pacific Ocean. Its epicenter is located approximately 50 miles offshore from the Northern California coast. This massive earthquake has triggered violent shaking along the Pacific coastal regions of California, Oregon, Washington, and Hawaii. Tsunami warnings are now in effect for all coastal regions in California, Oregon, Washington, and Hawaii. Authorities are issuing an immediate evacuation order for all individuals located within 1 mile of the coastline in these affected states. You are strongly urged to move to higher ground without delay. If you are near the coast, do not wait for further instructions. Take action immediately. Tsunami waves may reach coastal areas in the next 15 to 30 minutes, and the impact could be devastating. The waves may come in multiple surges, each one potentially more destructive than the last. The strength of the tsunami cannot be predicted with certainty, but it will be catastrophic in nature. The Federal Emergency Management Agency has activated all available emergency response teams to assist in evacuation efforts and provide aid. Local authorities are in the process of implementing emergency evacuation routes. If you are within an evacuation zone, do not attempt to drive through flooded or unstable areas. Seek shelter at higher elevations or evacuate towards designated safe zones. Follow instructions from your local emergency management offices. If you are in affected coastal regions and are unable to evacuate, move to higher floors of a sturdy structure or seek refuge in a safe, elevated area. Do not return to evacuated areas until authorities confirm it is safe to do so. This is a life-threatening situation. The magnitude of the earthquake, combined with the tsunami risk, poses extreme hazards to public safety. The ongoing tremors have been recorded as ongoing seismic activity with the potential for aftershocks. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, is continuing to monitor seismic activity, as well as any possible aftershocks or additional tsunami events. If additional warnings are issued, they will be communicated immediately. Please remain indoors and do not approach the coastline until all threats have been neutralized. For your safety, do not attempt to return to coastal areas once evacuations have begun. Do not engage in recreational activities in the water. Stay away from beaches and piers. Move inland and to higher ground immediately. If you are on higher floors of a building, stay there. Do not attempt to evacuate from high buildings to lower ground. Emergency medical services are mobilized and will prioritize high-risk areas. If you or someone you know is in need of medical assistance, please contact your local emergency dispatch center. Authorities are also advising individuals to secure their homes and take precautions against falling debris and structural damage. Please be aware of secondary hazards such as landslides, gas leaks, and electrical malfunctions, which may further compromise safety. If you are in a high-rise building or an area at risk of structural collapse, evacuate immediately to the safest available location. Remain calm and listen for official instructions. Refrain from using the phone line unless you have an emergency. Text messages are the most effective means of communication in this situation. This emergency alert has been issued to ensure the safety of all citizens in the affected regions. Please stay tuned for updates. The situation is evolving rapidly, and timely action can save lives. This concludes the current emergency alert message. Further updates will follow. Your regularly scheduled programming will now continue. Please stand by.
Warning. This is an emergency alert system notification. This is not a drill. Pay close attention to the following message. The following message is transmitted at the request of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the Department of Homeland Security, and local authorities in Los Angeles, California. An unidentified anomaly has been confirmed off the coast of California, and it is rapidly advancing toward the shoreline. Immediate evacuation order is now in effect for all residents in Los Angeles and surrounding areas. This is not a drill. You are ordered to evacuate immediately. Do not approach the coastline. If you are within 20 miles of the Pacific coast, you must leave without delay. Do not attempt to investigate the situation further. Follow the evacuation routes as instructed by local authorities. All residents within the immediate vicinity of the coastline must seek shelter in designated safe zones, moving to higher ground. This is a life-threatening event. The anomaly is described by those in its proximity as a vast, unknowable mass, with tendrils dragging entire ships into its dark, shifting body. Early reports have confirmed the destruction of multiple vessels offshore, with debris scattered across the waters. Authorities have confirmed that buildings across the Los Angeles skyline are collapsing. Infrastructure failures are occurring, and power grids have already collapsed in many regions. The threat is imminent. All efforts to contain or neutralize the anomaly have failed. Military and civilian personnel are working together to monitor and control the situation, but it is uncertain how long such efforts will remain effective. Evacuation is the only guaranteed method of safety at this time. Important safety information. If you are at the coastline or within 20 miles of the ocean, evacuate immediately. Follow the designated evacuation routes and leave your vehicle behind if traffic congestion is present. If you are in a building, head towards emergency exits and higher floors. Avoid stairwells, as building structures may collapse. If you cannot leave your location, seek shelter in sturdy, elevated buildings, or any designated emergency shelters that have been set up in your area. Do not attempt to contact emergency services unless you have a life-threatening emergency. Lines are overloaded. Use text messages for non-urgent communication. There is no confirmed information on the anomaly's origin or what's its purpose in this time. The cause remains undetermined. Efforts are underway to investigate its origins, but immediate evacuation remains the highest priority. Failure to evacuate could result in catastrophic consequences. This is a life-threatening event, and your safety is paramount. Do not delay your evacuation. This concludes the current emergency alert message. Further updates will follow as soon as new information becomes available.
Attention, evacuation notification in place. This is an emergency message transmitted at the request of the Federal Emergency Management Agency. A catastrophic anomaly has been confirmed moving inland, originating along the coast. The anomaly has now reached Texas and continues to spread across Oklahoma and Arkansas. A life-threatening event is in progress. Immediate action is required. All residents of the cities and towns in the following states, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, must evacuate immediately. Shelters are being established in safe zones for those unable to evacuate. Failure to evacuate may result in severe injury or death. You and your family are now designated to a public shelter. Please pursue immediately to your designated shelter without delay. Please check your smartphones for short messages that include coordinates and necessary information about the evacuation protocol. Evacuate now. Follow the official evacuation routes immediately. Do not delay. If unable to evacuate, shelter in place. Move to an interior room on the lowest floor. Stay away from windows and exterior walls. Secure doors and windows with available materials. Do not approach the anomaly. The anomaly is moving at an extreme rate and physically consuming structures and land. The U.S. military is actively engaged in evacuations and rescue operations. Their primary objective is to move civilians to safe zones and prevent further loss of life. Search and rescue operations are in progress to assist those who may be trapped or stranded by the anomaly's effects. Communication disruptions are expected, including power outages and cell service interruptions. Please use battery-operated radios for updates if power is lost. This is a life-threatening situation. Please act now to protect yourself and your family. Emergency response teams are working to mitigate the impact, but delaying evacuation may result in severe injury or death. Please do not cause any difficulty during the evacuation process. Further instructions will be provided as the situation develops. Thank you for your time. This concludes the notification.
My fellow Americans, tonight I speak to you not just as your president, but also as a citizen of the nation confronting a historic disaster. A colossal creature emerged from the depths of the Pacific Ocean, wreaking havoc over California, Texas, and Oklahoma. Now this giant is advancing on Washington, D.C., bringing devastation and sorrow in its path. This creature, known as the Leviathan, defies human understanding. It is gigantic, unstoppable, and feeds on destruction. Whole towns have been devastated. Lives have been lost. We face a terror we never could have predicted, and it makes the heart of our nation shake. Despite this atrocity, we stay steadfast in our resolve. We are Americans, forged in the fires of struggle, and we will not give up. To those in its path, act quickly, seek shelter, protect your family. Avoid facing this creature. It is beyond any individual's ability to withstand. Your survival is paramount. Trust your government and the brave men and women who fight relentlessly to protect you. To the armed troops and first responders, the nation owes you a debt that cannot be paid. You serve as a barrier between this inconceivable force and our people. Your courage, sacrifice, and drive inspire all of us. Allow me to tell you that we are deploying all available resources. The National Guard, FEMA, and law enforcement are all actively evacuating and assisting in affected regions. Our allies are standing by us, providing assistance and knowledge. Scientists and strategists are working around the clock to identify and combat this threat. This is a moment of astounding anguish. But as we undergo this horror, we must remember who we are, a nation that has overcome tragedy before and emerged stronger. This Leviathan may test our resolve, but it will not destroy our hope. I ask you, my fellow compatriots, to stand together. Offer prayers for those in peril and strength to those on the front lines. Lean on one another as we have always done during times of trouble. As this giant reaches our capital, the road ahead will be bleak, but we will persevere. This creature, no matter how massive, cannot match the resolve of a united people. May God bless every one of you. May He lead and protect us through this darkness. Hide, survive. We will resurrect together.